In this presentation, we're going to explore one of the most useful, but sometimes most confusing ideas in pharmacokinetics, the volume of distribution. It sounds as though we are measuring a real physical volume inside the body, but we are not. Volume of distribution is actually an apparent volume. It helps us understand where a drug appears to go after it enters the bloodstream. Once a drug enters the circulation, it does not necessarily stay in the blood. Some drugs remain mainly in the plasma, especially if they are large, water-soluble, ionized, or strongly bound to plasma proteins. Other drugs leave the circulation and distribute into tissues, particularly if they are lipid-soluble, enter cells easily, or bind to tissue components. Volume of distribution gives us a way to describe this balance between drug in the plasma and drug outside the plasma. Imagine adding blue dye to a glass of water. If the glass is small, the colour looks intense. If the same amount of dye is added to a large bucket of water, the colour looks much paler. The amount of dye has not changed, but the concentration has changed because the dye is spread through a larger volume. Let's say we added 10 grams of dye. In a volume of 100 ml, the resulting concentration is 100 grams per litre. But when added to 5 litres, it is only 2 grams per litre. Drugs behave in a similar way. We give a known amount of drug, then measure the concentration in plasma. From that, we estimate the apparent volume into which the drug has distributed. Volume of distribution, usually written as V subscript D, is the theoretical volume that would be needed to contain the total amount of drug in the body at the same concentration as that measured in the plasma. In simple terms, it links two things: how much drug is in the body and how concentrated the drug is in the blood plasma. It is defined by the equation Vd equals the amount of drug in the body divided by the plasma concentration of the drug. So, if there are 100 milligrams of drug in the body and the plasma concentration is 10 milligrams per litre, the apparent volume of distribution is 100 milligrams divided by 10 milligrams per litre, or 10 litres. This does not necessarily mean the drug is physically dissolved in exactly 10 litres of fluid. It means the drug behaves as though it has been diluted into that volume. A low volume of distribution tells us that the drug is confined to a relatively small space, so it remains largely in the blood. Think of this as a drug that prefers to stay in the bloodstream rather than moving into tissues. This may happen if the drug is large, highly charged, water-soluble, or strongly bound to plasma proteins. Because the drug remains in a relatively small space, the plasma concentration stays relatively high. A high volume of distribution tells us that the plasma concentration is low compared with the amount of drug in the body. The drug has not disappeared. Instead, it has become widely distributed beyond the bloodstream. Much of it has moved out of the plasma and into tissues. A drug that behaves in this way will be small or lipid soluble, can enter cells easily, or binds strongly to tissue components. Drugs can have a very large volume of distribution. One of the strange things about the volume of distribution is that it can be much larger than the actual volume of the body. This is possible because VD is not a real anatomical container. It is an apparent volume calculated from plasma concentration. If a drug leaves the plasma and accumulates in tissues, only a small amount remains in the blood sample. Since the volume is calculated from that low plasma concentration, it can become very large. That is because the drug appears to have been diluted into a huge space, which is an apparent, not a real space. So, a large volume of distribution does not mean a larger body space exists. It reflects low plasma concentration after drug has distributed to tissues. To interpret volume of distribution values, it helps to compare them with body fluid compartments. The average adult human has around 3 litres of plasma, 14 litres of extracellular fluid, and total body water of around 42 litres. So, a volume of distribution of around 3 litres suggests that a drug is mainly confined to plasma. A value near extracellular fluid volume suggests distribution outside blood vessels, but not extensively into cells. A value approaching total body water suggests broad distribution throughout body fluids. Values much higher than total body water suggest that there is significant tissue binding or accumulation into tissues. So, the higher the volume of distribution, the broader the distribution and/or tissue binding. Volume of distribution matters clinically because it helps us choose an appropriate loading dose. A loading dose is an initial, larger than maintenance dose that is given to rapidly achieve the desired therapeutic plasma concentration, rather than waiting for drug levels to build up gradually with repeated maintenance doses. If we want to reach a target plasma concentration quickly, we need to know how widely the drug distributes throughout the body. A drug with a low volume of distribution remains largely within the bloodstream, so a relatively small loading dose is needed to achieve the desired plasma concentration. In contrast, a drug with a high volume of distribution leaves the bloodstream and distributes extensively into body tissues. As a result, a larger loading dose is required to achieve the same target plasma concentration. Although most drugs exert their effects at tissue sites, plasma drug concentration is commonly used to guide dosing because it reflects the amount of drug available in the body and is readily measured. Several factors influence the volume of distribution. Drug-related factors include lipid solubility, molecular size, degree of ionization, plasma protein binding, and tissue binding. Patient-related factors include body composition, age, pregnancy, edema, dehydration, liver disease, and kidney disease. This means that the volume of distribution is not simply an inherent property of the drug. It also depends on the characteristics and physiology of the individual patient, which is why the same drug can have different volumes of distribution in different people. The key message is this: volume of distribution tells us how a drug partitions between plasma and the rest of the body. A low volume of distribution means the drug is mostly in the plasma. A high volume of distribution means the drug is mostly outside the plasma, often in tissues. It is not a real volume, but it is an extremely useful way of connecting dose, plasma concentration, and drug distribution, guiding the choice of loading dose. So, when you hear the term volume of distribution, do not imagine a physical container hidden somewhere in the body. Instead, think of it as a mathematical clue. It tells us whether a drug is mainly staying in the bloodstream or spreading into tissues. Once that idea clicks, volume of distribution becomes much less mysterious and much more useful.